Now, in the instruction that is called Instruction of Mahamudra in 4 statements, the first of them was to find out everything about the mind. Once being clear about that, the second one was to show the skillful means to let awareness rest within awareness. The third one was to clear away those obstacles which are the various traps that we can fall into by going astray from the proper path. The explanation of those 3 points finished. Now we approach the 4th one. Now we come to the 4th point. The 4th point is called to take this mind as a path, along the path, and the skillful methods here shown consist of so-called 6 yogas that enable us to continuously practice throughout our everyday life. Those 6 yogas are 6 different methods shown in how to connect to the underlying basic natural state of our mind throughout all situations of everyday life. The first of those is called the yoga of the day, which sealing the appearances of this world. So the daytime yoga means that everything that we encounter during the daytime may be a pleasant or an unpleasant situation, but just everything we learn to connect to our basic nature and take this situation onto a path of training in Mahamudra. Now, coming to this first point and the more detailed explanation, that which was called the yoga of the daytime means throughout the daytime to connect with the basic underlying nature of natural state of mind, called sealing the appearances. How is this to be understood? First of all what appears as this life or this world is not different than mind itself. It is but the reflection of my own mind. It is the reflective appearance of nature of mind. And however, sometimes based on those appearances, I feel very nice. Based on the pleasant appearance, I feel very nice and happy. Based on an unpleasant appearance, I perceive suffering and pain and sorrow. So when that happens, what's the reason for that? The reason is that in the previous interaction with this seeming world, I have built up various tendencies, habitual patterns of thinking. So by putting in a benevolent attitude and doing good, then the interaction builds up an imprint in mind that later on brightens to perceive a appearance as pleasant and feel very good about it. And based on an interaction with the seeming world that was of an ill-wishing negative type, then I built up such a habit in mind that later on the appearance happens to be unpleasant and I feel very uncomfortable with it. So no matter what happens, whether I feel good in a pleasant situation or bad in an unpleasant situation, all this appearance of the world is confused appearance that came out of my own habitual tendencies in mind. It is produced in the characteristic way by my own interaction with this world. To understand this is the training here. Now, the situation is that whenever we encounter a pleasant or unpleasant situation, by feeling happy or unhappy, we still entertain the assumption that there is something out there. Some objects we say got to be good, some bad. So this already is pure deception. We're trapped in the idea that there is something different than mind, although whatever appears is just the projection of mind. So the mere making difference between good and bad situations already is full confusion. To understand that, to maintain this understanding, this is called to seal the appearance of this world and life. This is the yoga of daytime, sealing the appearances with the understanding that whatever we believe out there as good and bad is just mere confusion. So then, although it is said many times that whatever appears as this life or world is but the reflective appearance of my own mind. It's just mind, projection of mind. And mind, as we saw, is not something tangible, something that we can identify. It doesn't have any particular graspable essence. However, doesn't it look like this world is really there? It is so vividly clear, seem to be there, solidly there. That's totally true, because that what we perceive as this world is product of our own habitual tendencies. That is the belief that we maintain for so long time that there is something as an object, something that perceiving mind as a subject. So we believe strongly, I am here and out there is this world. There's a very strong habit that we have to see the world like this. And as long as this habitual tendency is not exhausted, there's no way that we can escape this overwhelming impression that this world is really there. But still, no matter how solid and dense the appearances of this world and life seem, it is still just the mass of my own projection, habitual tendency that makes it feel so solid. But this is the main point here. It's my own habitual tendency to see the world in that particular way as an outer and an inner split. And as long as this habit is not gone, the world looks like that. When then, later, the tendencies of this error of mind to believe that there is an outer world and inner perceiver are completely exhausted, this outer world cannot do any harm anymore. There's nothing of the appearance of this world that can harm anyone anymore, because no longer there's any trace of believing in a separate outer world as a separate inner perceiver. Here one has reached the state of seeing that the impression of outer world is not different from the perceiving mind. Mind and appearance become one and the same. This is the stage of those who gained the power of realization, the Siddhas. All of them realized this point of inseparability of mind and appearances. And looking inwards at mind, you can see that our impression of mental operation of mind happening is actually also another deception. Mind, when looking for it, we cannot find a place of origin. We cannot say where it came from, we cannot say where it stays in the middle, nor can we say it has gone to this and that place. Therefore, it is not tangible, not identifiable. Mind doesn't have any substance. So the whole belief that we entertain that there is my mind happening, there is mental operation, in fact is just a big confusion. So it would be proper to see that my mental operation is not different from that what is the experience in a dream, or when I'm in the middle of a magical illusion. It's the mind that is grabbed in a magical illusion, the mind that is grabbed in the appearance of a dream. In such a way, mind is clearly, there's something appearing, but it has no substance or essence on its own. This is meant by the training which is called sealing one's own mind, sealing one's own mental operation by the understanding that belief that it was there is just mere confusion. So what's the bottom line of that practice of the day yoga that connects ourselves with the basic nature of mind, Mahamudra, during the daytime? It is to see that whatever happens in this seeming world, all the seemingly happening things are right from the moment that they seem to appear, and they are just illusion. It's a mere appearance, but there's nothing behind there. Everything that happens is free of substantial birth. Nothing comes into existence. It is exactly like the way that when something appears suddenly in a dream, or when we are in a magical illusion and something happens. From the very moment that thing seems to appear, already we know it's a magical illusion. So sealing all the appearances to be free of independent existence is the yoga of the daytime. Now we come to the next yoga. The next yoga is called the yoga of the disappearance within. And meant is here that the way of eating, when we eat something, it disappears inside. That's the yoga of disappearing inside, and refers to the morning time. So it seems to be the breakfast of the yogi and the yogini. And how does that happen? It happens in a way, in general, that all the appearances are taken as a support for one's training. For those who are most advanced on this path, then it is free of any idea that there are substances that are more digestible and with more pleasant taste, and there are other substances that they're less tasteful and they are less digestible. It is free of any of such a difference, because any substance is understood to be free of independent nature. It is actually empty of it, and it is digested in an empty way. So it is called that Dharmata, or the genuine being, is disappearing in Dharmata. That which is empty disappears in what is empty. This way of eating is the supreme method for those advanced on the path. Now those who are on middling experience along the path, they will eat in a way that they view all the substances to be eaten, or the food, as the mere illusory appearance. Something that is clearly appearing, yet it is empty of essence, like dream or illusion. And by taking it in that way, all the appearances of pleasant and unpleasant taste are seen to be illusory, like in a dream, that there is not a real difference between those two. So their taking in of illusory food is much like we take in the food in the Ganachakra meal, and it is perceived by primordial wisdom, or is embedded in the primordial awareness, and that conceives of those appearances to be just mere illusion.
Ini kadang ke namanya nanti, Dharma, Dharma yang cungcing boleh jadi nanti. Kita kadang ke, ini yang ke Dharma lebar kalau Dharma nanti, ini cungcing siapa Dharma yang nanti jumpa, cungcing siapa boleh ini nanti.
Yeah. So now, then we come to the last type, those who are least developed on the path, and from Jesus that all of us then whose understanding, full understanding of true reality hasn't yet fully shown itself, hasn't come to the full success yet. So what can we still do then? We can perceive all this food and the sensory appearance of this taking in of nourishing material, we can perceive as that it is just a huge meal of Ganachakra, a feast that we offer. All sensory appearance we offer to the lineage of the gurus and all the wisdom deities of our meditation. That would be the exercise and training that we should engage in while eating.
일단 나는 딱 소모가 나오는 쇼크게 동작한지 손상한테 소리 잡아야지 그러나 내가 이제 그 받침 보였어.
Den Menü Tanasana Nyamlen Tenga Tetula Tila Kipuna Toki Koro Kipuna.
네. 좀 남아서 야당 주신다. 소리 잡아야지 그.
Ich habe so lange die Now, for that reason, now it is said that it is of great importance and benefit for all those who already have entered the path of Mantrayana or Vajrayana, that from time to time we get together and together we arrange for such a Vajra feast, the Ganachakra, wherein we offer all our sensory experiences, the enjoyments of the meal and so on, as a huge offering to those masters of the lineage of transmission and all the wisdom deities, the mandala of the wisdom deities. Can be very, very helpful.
And so on the long the you'll be cheaper can they go in son. And I don't know how Janju get Dhamma, the number Sanji be long as you buy. They do some not on Doa Kara, then they just around the Laman can dining, that Yadam Mandala, Chuchum Mandala, kind of religion, once you show the one. Now all the top tenants on the that's on the hotel.
Now, what does it mean to have entered the Mantrayana or Vajrayana? There was a time when we have not been part of Mantrayana, and the very, very first start was to enter the protection of Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, to put ourselves under the protection of those, marked the beginning of our path. Here, we truly embarked on the path of following the footsteps of the Buddha. Right after that, there was not yet a difference between Mantrayana and Sutrayana. However, then later, if we ask those masters, realized masters, to give us empowerment for Abhisheka into the various wisdom deities and protectors, then from that moment on, taking those instructions onto a path, we became part of the Mantrayana or Vajrayana. And then it makes great sense to arrange those Ganachakra offerings from time to time.
And so long as you're challenged, then not also got that to the schedule can see on. Can see on the kids on the ticket and those schedule. Then also like Lama. And then also got that Yadana. And never down last of a dinner, don't see you. Then Tom, I don't know. Yeah. Doji Chedu, Tiki Chedu, this and the Gavan, not doing the head. They like this, and a donkey on the room. And then Tom, I don't know, 中方个要让个大人出胸拉手吧，公司呢给了长期开来吧有，人开来吧就他们上来等于开来吧就来嘛他们带去炒的，啊，带了带去长期炒的，啊，等这个干了，也把钱呢，你长期炒呢用完些的他了，也把钱呢，那么也让结婚，促进结婚，大家促进结婚。在这嘛就呢，人长期差不多多节三八了，说话的多节是理解人年纪的呢，你长期常常是讨论，没什么，现在可以谈结婚。
So when having entered the Vajrayana, it happened, as we saw, through the act of empowerment that we requested in the first place. All the others that have been present during this empowerment become our Vajra brothers and sisters. And the one who grants the empowerment is the Vajra master. The deity that we obtained the empowerment in is the wisdom deity, and there might be at times a certain promise that we promise to regularly meditate on that particular wisdom deity and to repeat the mantra of it. In any case, then later on it may happen that we develop all sorts of funny thinking of thoughts, concepts about our Vajra brothers and sisters. And also it may happen that our initial decision, our precept to repeat the mantra of the deity and so on, maybe we're not able to fulfill exactly. So we're transgressing our own decision and our promise. In both cases, the supreme method to purify all this is to arrange for a Vajra feast, the Ganachakra, wherein we offer all the various sense pleasures to the lineage of transmission and the wisdom deity. Then all this is purified in the supreme way. If we're not able to arrange for such a feast, at least what we should do is we should concentrate on the one who is the omnipresent master of all Buddha mandalas, this is Vajrasattva. Vajrasattva we could concentrate on and repeat his 100-syllable mantra for 21 times. This is said to be a very skillful method to remove all the evil impressions in our mind. So when talking about Ganachakra, usually it is a real feast that we arrange in an elaborate way, that we try to assemble all various types of sense pleasures and a nice meal, and we have the layout of the mandala, we have the procedure of reciting the various praises to the wisdom deities and so on, the whole procedure that we go through in recitation. So if we're not able to arrange for that elaborate feast, we could think instead that right within our throat, a white 8-petaled lotus is there. And in the center of this white 8-petaled lotus, we think all the gurus of the lineage, the wisdom deities and protectors to be present. And then all the sensory experiences, the pleasures of taking in food, we think of being offered to those wisdom deities while eating. So then, while eating, we can at the same time have the same function performed as Ganachakra feast.
좀 상황을 그로 장생 탐지게 대리 매저게 제가 먼저 그래. 알았어. 자체 탐지 나는 선언을 초조하게 차.
So when in such a way, before entering a meal, and we recite the verses of praise, thanks to the Supreme Teacher, the Buddha, and the Dharma, and the Sangha, and so on, we offer this food. This serves as a reminder for us then in the following time to think of that, throughout all those presents that we offer these sense pleasures to. In this situation, or else in this situation where we arrange for a Ganachakra feast, or thirdly, for those who are in the process of the preliminary exercises for Mahamudra, here offering for 100,000 times mandala. Now, if we wonder, what does it mean to accumulate merit or positive imprints in mind? What actually happens is that while offering, we do this offering under the thought or imagination that we do this in the presence of the awakened, enlightened mind of the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And so in this presence of enlightened mind, we offer all the various sense experiences. And here, doing like this becomes a skillful method to purify unfortunate and evil imprints in our mind. Habitual negative habits of mind are purified by this skillful method. If you come other questions for this topic, then please, you're welcome.